Hello, my name is Andrea Eames, also known as Dulcimer the Fairy. I write and tell stories. Would you like to hear one? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Today I'm going to tell you the story of the man with puffed cheeks. Once upon a time, in a small town far away, there lived a rich merchant. He was a very hard-working man with a very successful business. His neighbors admired him greatly for his wealth and generosity. "What a good man he is," they would say. "He deserves all his riches." But the merchant was by no means the good man his neighbors thought him to be. True, he worked hard by day, but at night, when all respectable folk were fast asleep, he led a gang of robbers who roved the country, breaking into the houses of rich people and stealing all they could carry. They had done this for many years, but suspicion never fell on the merchant because he seemed such a respectable, hard-working man. Well, the fairies saw what the merchant was doing and decided to punish him. He woke one morning to go to market as usual, and on the way, one of his neighbors stopped him to say, "What on earth is wrong with your face?" The merchant felt his face, and sure enough, one of his cheeks was twice the size of the other. He hurried home. It was starting to feel hot and uncomfortable, so he covered it with bandages. But it did not get better. In fact, it got worse. Every day it grew bigger and bigger until it was almost the size of his entire head. The merchant was at his wits' end. Finally, he went to the fairies to find a cure. They pretended to examine him and then told him, "This is no ordinary swelled face. We think you must have been doing some bad deed which has caused this." The merchant wrung his hands, but did not confess to his robberies. "What can I do?" he cried. "On the first night of the full moon," the fairies told him, "go to the woods and wait till midnight. At that time, you will see the goblins come out from their underground burrows and start to dance. You must join them. If you dance well enough, they will be pleased, and then they will most likely cure you as a reward." So, on the first night of the full moon, the merchant went to the woods as the fairies had told him to. He hid in a tree until midnight, when he saw the goblins emerge and begin to play strange instruments and dance to their tune. The merchant jumped down and joined their dance, but he was very nervous. He moved his arms a little bit and hopped from one foot to the other, but then sank to the ground and declared he would dance no more. The goblins were very angry. "If you will not dance for us," they said, "then we shall double your punishment." They vanished back into their burrows, and the merchant had to find his way back home. When he rose next morning, he found that, instead of just one puffed cheek, he had two. He could hardly see out of his eyes. He could not run his business that way. He started to lose money, and his neighbors laughed at him. He went back to the fairies. "We cannot help you," they said. "You must go back to the goblins and try again." And so, on the first night of the next full moon, the merchant went back into the woods and waited until midnight. Again, the goblins emerged from their burrows, and again they started to play strange instruments and dance. The merchant hopped down from the tree in which he had been hiding and started to dance once more. This time, for fear of receiving an even worse punishment, he danced with such energy and vigor, making such strange movements and looking so funny with his big puffed cheeks, that the goblins fell over themselves laughing, giggling so much that they rolled on the ground, clutching their sides. "You have amused us," said the head goblin once the laughter had died down, "and so we shall lift your curse. Farewell." The goblins vanished, and the merchant made his way home. In the morning, he found to his great joy that his face had returned to its normal size. He learned from his lesson, and never did any bad deed ever again, but made his living honestly, and ended his days in peace and prosperity. He also became famous in his little town for his most original dance moves. The end. Thank you for listening to my story. If you would like to hear more, please click above to subscribe and hear other magical tales. If you would like your own copy of one of my books, you can go to Amazon.com or to my website, AndreaEames.com. We'll provide links below the video.